Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Big Akar Ahmed, and welcome to today's video. Today, we're going to be going ahead and speaking about our Palestinian brothers and sisters and Israel, okay? And we need to do something about this. It has been a full year now of complete destruction on the Palestinian people. They are labeling this as a genocide, and this is something that is being fought by two extremes to the highest level. This is something that can pull the United States into war. This is something that can pull all of their allies and their enemies into war. And this is something that can cause a full-out World War III, economic reset, all types of different things when it comes down to it. So don't think like, oh, I'm in America, I don't care about Palestine. Oh, I'm in Germany, I don't care about Palestine. You better care about Palestine. You better care about what's happening there and what Israel is doing, because they're sucking our economies dry so they can bomb and commit mass genocide. And this is not something that is good. This is not something that's good for you, our families, our businesses, our economies. And no one needs to go ahead and sacrifice the whole world so this little group of terrorists called Israel can go ahead and commit a genocide and blow down a whole entire landmass of people so they can take a piece of land. This is ridiculous, and it's getting way too ahead of where it should have been or what the situation should have been to escalate the attack by Hamas to begin with. So that's what I want to go ahead and get out of the way first. Secondly, I see that Sky News had asked Benjamin Netanyahu why he took the West Bank off the map. Benjamin Netanyahu was going ahead and giving a presentation where he is displaying a map and explaining different things on the map, but the West Bank is not on it and Gaza is on it. So the interviewer asked, yo, why did you go ahead and take the West Bank off the map? So we're going to go ahead and see what Benjamin Netanyahu has to say about that, and then his response on what he believes is going on in this war. Now, every time I've ever heard BIBI Netanyahu speak, he speaks garbage out of his mouth. It's very prominent. He's lying. He lies right to your face, knows he's lying, doesn't care, and continues on believing his own lies. So without further ado, we are going to go ahead and react to this psychopath, narcissist, Benjamin Netanyahu, and what he has to say to the reporters here. So jump into it.
You said at the beginning of your speech that Hamas and others in the Middle East want to wipe Israel off the map. You have literally wiped the West Bank off that map. Is that official policy now, that the West Bank doesn't exist?
No, I didn't include the Dead Sea. It's not shown in the map. I didn't show the Jordan River. It's on this map. I didn't show the Sea of Galilee.
But those
it's on
are
that
geographical
map.
features. This is a population of
Well,
2
I
million
didn't
Palestinians who live there.
didn't get into that. I was talking about Gaza. There is a whole issue of what to do, how to achieve peace between us and the Palestinians in Judea and Samaria. I didn't get into that. That's another press conference. I'll be happy to do it. To wipe out some of the misconceptions and the slanders and lies that are directed at us. We don't intend to drive these people away. They want to drive us away.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and pause it right there, 48 seconds in, okay? So he said, I didn't remove the West Bank from the map. There's other things that aren't on the map here. I'm just not talking about the West Bank. It's not important to this discussion, so I didn't add it to the map, okay? Which makes complete sense. That could be true. But the interesting thing about the map is you have Jerusalem dead blast on the map as one of the biggest names there. Jerusalem's located right on the border, if not inside the West Bank. So how can you go ahead and add Gaza Strip and add Jerusalem, but not add the West Bank? Excuse me. Especially when you're drawing pinpoints from the Gaza Strip out. What do you want to show the West Bank, since that is Palestinian territory? It is very, very interesting that he didn't add the West Bank. But there is the Gaza Strip. So I'm not quite sure about that. But he also makes the claim that these people are trying to kill us and drive us out of the land. We're not trying to kill them and drive them out of the land. But when we look at the 80 years of history here, it doesn't look like that is the case, Benjamin Netanyahu. When we look at the body bags, when we look at the amount of weaponry that is being transported to this region of the world, on whose side, the Israeli side or the Palestinian side, we can very much see the billions, if not trillions of dollars that have already flown into your military. So it's very easy to see the BS when you're talking it. And it's crazy to me that he goes ahead and makes these claims that they want to eradicate us, they want us off the face of the earth. but we don't want them off the face of the earth. What are you doing? That's all you're literally doing, is trying to exterminate the Palestinian people. And if you think it's just Hamas, right, and you need to just exterminate Hamas, you're never going to be able to do that, and you know you're not going to be able to do that. So you know you're going to have to wipe out the whole entire region, take the land. You know you're going to have to do that. And then when someone goes ahead and asks you guys, you know, there's a difference between Hamas and Palestinians, and you say, no, the Palestinians are the same thing as Hamas. The Palestinians, they grow up to be Hamas. The Palestinians are trained to be Hamas. The Palestinians voted for Hamas. They're all the same. Okay, so if you're trying to eradicate Hamas and all the Palestinians are Hamas, like you guys claim, then you're trying to kill them all. You're trying to eradicate them all. Why do you get on public TV and lie and say, we're not trying to eradicate them? All Palestinians are Hamas. We're trying to eradicate Hamas. We want them all gone. But it's not a genocide. It's kind of crazy to me. So let's go ahead and continue and see what this psychopath has to say.
It's a big difference. You know, every day they target us. You know what they teach in the schools, in the PA schools? They teach exactly the same thing that they teach, the same textbooks, as in the same textbooks here in the PA schools as here. Same thing. Israel has to be destroyed, kill as many Jews, pay for slay. The more Jews, the more Israelis you kill, the more you get paid.
So he's telling me these little kids go to school, and instead of learning math and science, they're learning how to kill Jewish people. Bro, what kind of Spider-Man movie story are you trying to feed us here today? This complete garbage. Yes, our parents who grew up for the last 20 years watching their parents and friends get blown up by Israeli bombs, going to warn their children, hey, Israel's bad. They blow us up. They want us dead. Yes, they're going to teach their kids that. Why would they not teach their kids that? Their kid gets too close to the borderline or a fence to go get a soccer ball or a football, they accidentally thrown over the line, and they're getting sniped. So, of course, you have to let them know that you guys are aggressive, that you guys want them dead, because you do, and that they live in an open-air prison, which they do. They do have to go ahead and educate their children on things like this. Now, when it comes down to the schools are ran by like Hamas terrorists and everyone is becoming a terrorist, is crazy. Because did you not just say that they don't want to eradicate us? That they want to eradicate us, we don't want to eradicate them. They're evil, they're terrorists. Now you're telling us what all the kids learn, but you're never going to make a distinction between Hamas and the Palestinian people. You will always say we don't want to eradicate the Palestinian people, but you will always say Hamas and the Palestinian people are the same, and we have to eradicate Hamas. It's literally such a what do you call it? An illusion. It's an illusion. You're literally telling us that you want to eradicate them, and then after telling us you want to eradicate all Palestinians, you want to tell us we're not trying to eradicate them. It's crazy.
There's a difference in strategy. You know, Hamas believes that the way to destroy Israel is through outright terror and military confrontation immediately, backed by Iran. It's all part of the Iranian axis.
And Israel believes that the way to go ahead and eradicate the Palestinian people is by joining forces with the United States of America, one of the largest colonizers in human history, and getting funded multi-billions of dollars a year of weaponry, the strongest weaponry on earth, having a whole entire nuclear system that is located within our country when no one else in the Middle East is allowed to have nukes, or they're called weapons of mass destruction. We go and infiltrate their lands like Iraq. So we have the United States backing us so we can perform terrorism and genocide on the Palestinian people and take Gaza and the West Bank for ourselves finally after 100 years.
The Palestinian
that's a strategy.
Authority believes that the way to do it is by ICC, by having lawfare, absurd charges leveled at Israel and its leaders, including me. Enormous pressure to drive Israel to indefensible boundaries, where the boundaries would be right here, right next to Tel Aviv. That's it. 8, 10 miles from the sea, and then push to the sea. There's a difference. But the goals are the same. No, I didn't show that, but if you want, Alistair, next press conference, I guarantee you can ask all the questions you want, and I'll give you the answers, the truth, the facts.
The way he plays victim is really crazy because you are a worldwide terrorist. Everyone knows it. Everyone sees it. The worldwide community has agreed to it. Like you just said, there's ridiculous charges on me. There's not ridiculous charges on you, buddy. You were supposed to be going to jail before you even became president again. You have very, very legitimate charges on you, and you have done some crazy, heinous things over your career here as a leader in Israel. So the things that you do are way past oh, this guy didn't pay his taxes. Like, bro, you're killing millions of people. That is what you've been doing for 20 years. And that's what you've been trying to achieve for 20 years. You are not on the team of the rest of the world. The rest of the world doesn't want their country to explode and get destroyed because of you, because you're a selfish, greedy dictator. Like they're not like Germany and the UK and the United States and every other country on the planet. They don't need to explode and blow up and go to war for you. We don't want to go to war for you. We don't want to fight your fight. You go fight Hamas, but just know that if it's just you and you don't drag us into it, you're gonna get whooped. You're gonna get your ass whooped, buddy. It's not going to be like you think all the billions of dollars and everything you have is going to matter, bro. God's always going to protect the people that need protecting, not you. Like, you're on the side of the devil. Keep working with your devil and see how that goes ahead and turns out. Like, you can see it in your face. You're just an evil man. You sound evil. Like, you sound like a demon is trying to come out of your voice. Like, you don't sound friendly. You don't sound appeasing to be by. You don't sound anywhere near, like, remorseful for anything that you do. You're just an evil person, and it's so prominent when he speaks and he says these things. It's so prominent
that your readers and viewers do not get in this horrible harangue of this one democracy fighting this just war with just means against the most horrendous savages on the planet. And Israel is...
The fact he's calling Hamas the most horrendous savages on the planet, or like Hezbollah the most horrendous savages on the planet, when we have groups in the Middle East like ISIS who are literally chopping people's heads off, Muslims, Christians, Jews, and taking over a whole entire land, or like the Taliban, or we have, governments like Israel committing genocide, and the fact that he's calling Hamas like the most evil people on the planet is crazy, because this is just a news propaganda stunt to make people envision like these people are the worst of the worst. Nobody could be worse than Hamas. And this is complete garbage BS. The United States and Israel 10 times worse than Hamas, and Hamas will ever be. They're bigger terrorist organizations than Hamas will ever be. And it's crazy to me the way that they paint the picture of Palestinians, the way they paint the picture of Hamas, the way they paint the picture of what's happening there. And they make it seem like it's like these people are the worst people. They're destroying everything. They're burning everything down. Their religion tells them to blow everything up. It's crazy to me. And they're actually doing the complete opposite with 100,000 times the force. So I find it very, very hypocritical. And it's almost comedic at the same time.
Condemned.
Pieces of garbage.
Israel is being pilloried. Israel is being slandered. This is something that not only affects the Jewish people. 80 years after the Holocaust.
Okay, first off, most of you are not even Jewish. You guys are super white with big noses. How are you Jewish? You look like you're from the North Pole. Jewish people were saved as slaves that were working for the Pharaoh by Moses. Jewish people lived in that land. You look nothing like the rest of the Semitic people in the land. You look nothing like the Arabs. You look nothing like Chaldeans. You look nothing like any of the other tribes, Canaanites. Anyone that was there for the last 40,000 years or so, right? You look nothing like any of them. Nothing. You look super white. So it's not like, oh, I just went to Europe for a couple of years or generations. No, bro, you must have stayed in Europe for thousands of years to be that white, to look like that. You know what I'm saying? You look like you're like from the north, like Poland, Russia, Slavic. You have the skin tone and facial structure of someone of the northern regions, not someone from the Semitic regions. You and 80% of the whole population of Israel. So it's crazy to me you keep calling yourself Jewish people, but there's no way that you are related to the people who were freed by Moses. There's no way. Those people were straight black, sitting in the sun, slaves, working. There's no way.
And our enemies are openly declaring that they'll make another Holocaust. It also affects a beleaguered democracy that is fighting the battle of all democracies against these barbarians.
And it's crazy how they use the Holocaust as like a defense mechanism. Like, oh, they're trying to create a Holocaust and they're trying to make us go through another Holocaust. Poor us, we're Jewish, we went through a Holocaust. Well, they can in fact go ahead and inflict their own Holocaust or their own genocide on a specific group of people and use the Holocaust as like, oh, we could never commit genocide. We could never be like Hitler because we were persecuted by him 80 years ago and he killed us all. So this is like the defense mechanism excuse that he uses.
Variants. So yes, I'll be happy to talk about the West Bank.
I can't be a killer because someone killed my family. Like, what kind of illogical thinking is this?
And the Palestinian Authority, you name it. And in fact, I'll let you name it. Because one thing I do not fear is tough questions. And I hope you accept some direct answers.
I don't know, man. Direct answers. You beat around the bush the whole entire time you were going ahead and speaking there. I kind of touched on it all. But this individual right here, when he speaks, I don't really enjoy watching him or listening to him speak. He says nothing but garbage out of his mouth, and all it does is irk me and irritate me because he doesn't give direct answers. He goes in circles and beats around the bush and gives indirect answers when it comes down to it. And he lies. He spews garbage through his mouth. And he tries to use Jewish history and things Jewish people went through as a defense mechanism for the things that he's doing to these Muslim Palestinians now. And it blows my mind to see that this kind of attitude, like, oh, I was bullied, so I can't be a bully. You know what I mean? Boo-hoo, poor us. Still feel bad about us 80 years ago. And if you guys don't think like history is not rigged and completely pushed by a specific group of people, the number one thing I learned about and was like the most tragic thing that ever happened in history is the Holocaust. The most evil man to ever live on this whole entire planet is Hitler, right? Never anyone else, never anything else in history. You know what I mean? And it's very, very interesting that there's so much expression, so much enthusiasm put around the Holocaust to go ahead and make it feel like this is the worst thing to ever happen and the worst person tried taking out the Jewish people. They must be so important. We must protect them at all costs. Boo-hoo, poor Jewish people. But then you take a look and all these Jewish people look different. Are you guys a race or are you guys a religion? I'm getting very confused at this point because if you're a race, then you guys definitely should have some similarities in looking. If we go to Israel and you see all these people identifying as Jewish, you see super black Jews, you see super white Jews, you see tan Jews. Like, you see people who are definitely not the same race. They don't come from the same type of region. They're completely from three different separate regions of the world. One's from Africa, one's from the Middle East, and one's from North America. So which ones are actual Jewish people? Which ones actually have this lineage? Which ones are not, just coming from the middle of Poland like Benjamin Netanyahu here in pretending to be this Jewish king, right? It's very, very interesting to go ahead and see the way that everything is playing out to this date. The Middle East is completely destroyed, one country after another, by the United States of America and Israel over the last 25 to 30 years or so. And all we have left is the remainder of Palestine, Lebanon, and Iran. So guess what? Guess what's going to happen? Yemen, Palestine, Iran, and Lebanon are going to fight you. They are going to use everything in their power to go ahead and make sure you don't take their countries next. You don't do to their countries what you did to Iraq, and what you did to Syria, and what you did to Afghanistan, and what you did to Bahrain, and what you did to Libya, and what you did to all of these countries like Egypt, and you overthrew their governments, and you placed new people into power that you can control like puppets. Shame on you. It is disgusting, and everything that is happening in the Middle East is going to backfire on you. God bless every single one of you. Thanks for coming in today. Thanks for going ahead and watching the video. And until next time, baby, free Palestine.